In the dim light of dawn on December 1st, 1948, beachgoers in Adelaide, Australia, stumbled upon a well-dressed man slumped against a seawall on Summerton Beach, his lifeless eyes staring blankly at the horizon, igniting one of history's most baffling unsolved mysteries. For centuries, humanity has grappled with enigmas that defy explanation, from vanished civilizations to cryptic messages from the cosmos, each leaving a trail of unanswered questions that challenge our understanding of the past and fuel endless speculation. This documentary delves into 12 of the world's most enduring historical mysteries, exploring the facts, contexts, and theories that continue to intrigue scholars and the public alike, reminding us that history often hides as much as it reveals. The lost colony of Roanoke stands as one of the earliest and most perplexing mysteries in American history, where in 1587, over 100 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina, led by Governor John White, aiming to establish the first permanent English settlement in the New World. Amid Queen Elizabeth's ambitions to counter Spanish dominance in the Americas, the group, including women and children, faced immediate hardships, arriving too late in the season to plant crops, leading to food shortages and strained relations with local Native American tribes like the Croatoans, who were initially friendly but grew wary due to previous English expeditions' aggressions. White, realizing the colony's precarious position, sailed back to England for supplies, leaving behind his daughter Eleanor Dare and granddaughter Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. Storms and the Anglo-Spanish War delayed his return until 1590, when he found the settlement abandoned with no signs of struggle or distress. Only the word Croatoan, carved into a palisade post, and crow on a nearby tree, suggesting relocation to Croatoan Island, now Hatteras Island, about 50 miles south. White's attempt to reach Croatoan was thwarted by bad weather, forcing him back to England without answers. Archaeological efforts over centuries have yielded clues like European pottery fragments at Hatteras sites, hinting at assimilation with the Croatoan tribe, supported by Jamestown reports in the 1600s of Native Americans with gray eyes and claims of descent from white settlers, as well as a 16th century map by White showing a patch possibly indicating a hidden fort inland. Theories abound. Starvation and disease could have decimated the group, leading survivors to integrate with natives. Hostile tribes like the Powhatan might have attacked, though no battle evidence exists. Or environmental factors, such as the severe drought documented in tree ring data from 1587 to 1589 forced dispersal. Recent excavations by the First Colony Foundation uncovered 16th century artifacts like borderware pottery and copper glaze at Site X on Hatteras, aligning with Croatoan integration, while DNA studies of local Lumbee tribe members show European admixture, though not conclusively linked. The mystery deepened with the 1937 discovery of the Dare Stones, inscribed rocks purporting messages from survivors, but most were debunked as forgeries, except possibly the first, adding layers of intrigue. Visual suggestions, archival maps of Roanoke Island, reenactments of settlers' arrival and abandonment, drone footage of modern Hatteras sites, expert interviews with archaeologists displaying pottery shards, animations of drought impacts on crops. 1. The disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, the influential American labor leader who vanished on July 30, 1975, remains one of the most notorious unsolved cases in U.S. history, encapsulating the murky intersections of organized labor politics and organized crime during the mid-20th century. Born in 1913 in Brazil, Indiana, Hoffa rose through the ranks of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, becoming its president in 1957, and transforming it into the largest union in the country with over 1.5 million members, wielding immense power through control of trucking and logistics that could cripple the economy. His aggressive tactics, including strikes and negotiations, improved wages and conditions for workers but also entangled him with mafia figures like Anthony Tony Provenzano and Anthony Giacolone, who provided loans from the union's pension fund for casinos and other ventures, leading to federal investigations. Convicted in 1964 for jury tampering and pension fraud, Hoffa served time in prison from 1967 to 1971, when President Richard Nixon commuted his sentence with the condition he not seek union leadership until 1980, a restriction. Hoffa fought vigorously through lawsuits. On the day of his disappearance, the 62-year-old Hoffa left his Lake Orion home around 1 p.m., stopping briefly in Pontiac before arriving at the Machu's Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan, for a 2 p.m. meeting ostensibly to reconcile with Provenzano and Giacolone, amid tensions over Hoffa's bid to reclaim Teamsters presidency. He called his wife Josephine at 2:15 p.m., frustrated that his contacts were late, and was last seen pacing the parking lot. His green Pontiac Granville was found unlocked the next day. The FBI's investigation, codenamed Hoffex, uncovered blood traces in a Detroit home linked to mobster Charles Chucky O'Brien, Hoffa's foster son, but no charges stuck due to insufficient evidence. Theories proliferated. The mafia orchestrated his murder to prevent his return to power and exposure of their financial ties, with claims of his body being buried under Giants Stadium in New Jersey, dissolved in acid, or encased in concrete at a Florida swamp, though multiple digs yielded nothing. Another angle suggests Hoffa was killed by Irish mobster Frank the Irishman Sheeran, as detailed in Charles Brandt's 2004 book, I Heard You Paint Houses, where Sheeran confessed to shooting Hoffa in a Detroit house on orders from Russell Bufalino, a story dramatized in Martin Scorsese's 2019 film. Hoffa's family dynamics added intrigue. His son James P. Hoffa later became Teamsters president, while theories of internal union rivalries or FBI involvement persisted, fueled by Hoffa's anti-Kennedy stance and alleged ties to plots against the president. Despite DNA tests on hair from O'Brien's car matching Hoffa and informant tips, no body has been found, and he was declared legally dead in 1982. Visual suggestions, archival footage of Hoffa speeches and union rallies, reenactments of the restaurant meeting and disappearance, maps tracing his last movements, interviews with FBI agents displaying case files, animations of mafia disposal methods. 2. The Amber Room, often hailed as the eighth wonder of the world, represents one of history's most captivating lost treasures, a masterpiece of Baroque art crafted in the early 18th century that vanished during World War II, leaving behind a trail of speculation and failed searches. Commissioned in 1701 by Frederick I of Prussia, the room was designed by Andreas Schluter and constructed by Danish amber master Gottfried Wolfram, featuring intricate panels of amber backed with gold leaf and mirrors, spanning about 180 square feet and valued at over $500 million today due to 6 tons of amber and precious stones. Gifted to Russian Tsar Peter the Great in 1716 to seal an alliance against Sweden, it was installed in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, expanded by Serena Elizabeth with Italian artist Bartolomeo Francesco Rastrelli, adding more amber shipped from Berlin, creating a glowing chamber that symbolized opulence and diplomatic ties. During World War II, as Nazi forces advanced on Leningrad in 1941 under Operation Barbarossa, the room was dismantled by German troops from Army Group North and transported to Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, where it was displayed as a trophy of Aryan heritage, aligning with Hitler's cultural looting directives that saw millions of artifacts stolen across Europe. As Allied bombings intensified in 1944-1945, curator Alfred Rode claimed the panels were crated and hidden, but Königsberg fell to the Red Army in April 1945 amid heavy fighting, with the castle suffering extensive damage from fires and artillery. Post-war searches by Soviet art experts like Alexander Brusov concluded the room was likely destroyed in the Inferno, supported by eyewitness accounts of flames consuming the Knights Hall where it was stored. Yet persistent theories suggest survival. Some claim it was loaded onto the Wilhelm Gustloff ship, sunk by a Soviet submarine in January 1945, with over 9,000 lives, though divies found no trace. Others point to underground bunkers in Kaliningrad, formerly Knigsberg, with expeditions like the 1990s Amber Room project, using ground-penetrating radar, but yielding only World War II relics. Nazi gold train legends in Poland's Owl Mountains have prompted digs, fueled by 1979 KGB reports of hidden caches, but nothing materialized. A 2004 theory by journalists Catherine Scott Clark and Adrian Levy posits Soviet soldiers accidentally destroyed it during looting, with the KGB covering up the blunder through disinformation. Fragments surfaced, like a mosaic panel recovered in 1997 from a German soldier's son, confirming partial survival, but the bulk remains elusive. A meticulous reconstruction, completed in 2003 at a cost of $11 million with German funding, now adorns the Catherine Palace. Yet the original's fate endures as a symbol of wartime loss. Visual suggestions, historical paintings of the Amber Room, reenactments of Nazi dismantling and Soviet searches, archival photos of Knigsberg ruins, expert interviews with amber artifacts, underwater footage of shipwrecks. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, stands as one of the most scrutinized and debated events in modern history. A pivotal moment that shattered American innocence and spawned enduring conspiracy theories amid the Cold War's heightening tensions. Kennedy, the 35th U.S. president, was riding in an open-top Lincoln Continental limousine through Dealey Plaza with First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy, Texas Governor John Connally, and his wife Nellie, as part of a motorcade to bolster Democratic support ahead of the 1964 election, when at 12:30 p.m., 3 shots rang out from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. The first bullet missed. The second struck Kennedy in the back and exited through his throat, also wounding Connally in the back, wrist, and thigh, the so-called magic bullet, per the Warren Commission as single bullet theory, while the third fatally hit Kennedy in the head, causing massive trauma documented in the Zapruder film Civ Frame 313. Chaos ensued as the car sped to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where Kennedy was pronounced dead at 1 p.m., and Connally recovered after surgery. Lee Harvey Oswald, a 24-year-old former Marine with Marxist sympathies who had defected to the Soviet Union in 1959 and returned in 1962, was arrested 70 minutes later for murdering police officer J.D. Tippit during his escape, and charged with Kennedy's assassination based on ballistic matches to his Mannlicher Carcano rifle found in the depository with his palm print. Oswald denied involvement, claiming he was a patsy, but was shot dead 2 days later by nightclub owner Jack Ruby on live television, fueling suspicions of a cover-up. The Warren Commission, appointed by President Lyndon B. Johnson and led by Chief Justice Earl Warren, concluded in 1964, after interviewing 552 witnesses, that Oswald acted alone, motivated by personal grievances and ideological fervor, with no evidence of conspiracy, though acoustic analysis later by the House Select Committee on Assassinations in 1979 suggested a 95% probability of a fourth shot from the grassy knoll, implying a second gunman and conspiracy, later disputed by the National Academy of Sciences. Theories proliferated. The CIA orchestrated it due to Kennedy's handling of the Bay of Pigs and plans to shatter the agency. The Mafia retaliated for Attorney General Robert Kennedy's crackdowns with links to Ruby and Oswald's uncle. Soviet or Cuban involvement stemmed from the Cuban Missile Crisis and assassination attempts on Fidel Castro. Or Vice President Johnson sought power amid scandals. Evidence includes Oswald's Mexico City visits to Soviet and Cuban embassies, declassified CIA plots against Castro, and discrepancies in autopsy reports suggesting frontal shots. despite over 2,000 books and films like Oliver Stone's JFK. No conclusive proof exists beyond the official lone gunman narrative, with 61% of Americans believing in a conspiracy, per 2013 Gallup polls. Visual suggestions, Zapruder film clips, reenactments of the motorcade and shots, diagrams of bullet trajectories, interviews with Warren Commission members, archival newsreels of Oswald's arrest and Ruby's shooting. 4. The Illuminati, a secret society founded in 1776 amid the Enlightenment's fervor for reason and reform, has evolved into one of history's most persistent conspiracy theories, symbolizing hidden power structures, allegedly manipulating global events from the shadows. Established by Adam Weishaupt, a Bavarian professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt, disillusioned with Jesuit dominance in education and the absolutism of monarchies, the Order of the Illuminati aimed to promote rationalism, secularism, and equality, drawing inspiration from Freemasonry's hierarchical structure, but emphasizing anti-clerical and anti-royal ideals to foster a society governed by merit and knowledge rather than birthright or religion. Weishaupt recruited intellectuals, nobles, and professionals, including astronomer Johann Bode and poet Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, growing to around 2,000 members across Europe by 1784, through a system of degrees where initiates progressed from Minerval to Illuminatus Major, swearing secrecy and undergoing rituals symbolizing enlightenment. The Society's documents outlined plans to infiltrate governments, churches, and Masonic lodges to undermine superstition and tyranny, advocating for women's education and moral improvement, but Bavarian authorities, fearing subversion, amid revolutionary unrest, banned secret societies in 1784-1785, raiding members' homes and seizing papers that revealed the order's structure and ambitions. Weishaupt fled to Gotha, where he lived until 1830, and the Illuminati disbanded, but its legacy exploded through publications like John Robison as 1797 Proofs of a Conspiracy and Abbé Augustin Barruel's memoirs illustrating the history of Jacobinism, which falsely claimed Illuminati orchestrated the French Revolution by surviving underground and influencing Freemasons, blending anti-Semitic tropes with fears of atheism and republicanism. This narrative crossed the Atlantic, fueling U.S. Federalist accusations against Thomas Jefferson as an Illuminati agent during the 1800 election, and persisted through the 19th century, linking the group to the Carbonari and other revolutionary movements. In the 20th century, theories escalated. The Illuminati allegedly controlled world banks, media, and governments via the Bilderberg Group or Trilateral Commission, with symbols like the Eye of Providence on the U.S. dollar bills cited as proof, originating from Weishaupt's Minerva's owl emblem. Modern claims tie them to events like the JFK assassination, 9/11s, or celebrity initiations via hand signs, popularized by Robert Anton Wilson's Illuminatus trilogy and Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, despite no evidence of continuity beyond the original Bavarian group. Scholars attribute the myth's endurance to societal anxieties over globalization and inequality, projecting fears onto a shadowy elite. Visual suggestions, 18th century engravings of Weishaupt and rituals, reenactments of Bavarian raids, timelines mapping conspiracy evolution, expert interviews with symbolic artifacts, animations of alleged modern networks. 5. The quantum disappearance of Ettore Majorana in 1938 encapsulates a modern mystery blending scientific genius with enigmatic vanishing, set against the backdrop of pre-World War II Europe's turbulent scientific and political landscape. Born in 1906 in Catania, Sicily, to a prominent engineering family, Majorana displayed prodigious mathematical talent from childhood, solving complex problems before formal education, and by 1923 enrolled at the University of Rome, initially in engineering before switching to physics under Enrico Fermi as mentorship in 1927. As part of the Via Panisperna Boys, Fermi's elite group, Majorana contributed groundbreaking work, including the 1932 Majorana-Weyl equation describing neutrinos as their own antiparticles, a theory gaining traction with modern particle physics experiments, and independent formulation of nuclear exchange forces, predating Yukawa's meson theory that won the 1949 Nobel. Shy and reclusive, Majorana avoided publicity, refusing to publish many ideas, leading Fermi to compare him to Newton and Galileo for his brilliance, but lamenting his self-isolation. In 1933, he traveled to Germany and Denmark on a grant, collaborating with Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr. But health issues, possibly gastritis or depression, prompted an early return, after which he withdrew from academia for 4 years, emerging in 1937 to win a professorship in theoretical physics at the University of Naples via a special competition arranged by Fermi to secure his talents amid fascist Italy as brain drain. On March 25, 1938, the 31-year-old Majorana withdrew his salary, sent cryptic letters to colleagues hinting at suicide. The sea rejected me, and his family implying a planned absence, then boarded a ship from Naples to Palermo, where he was seen briefly before vanishing. A telegram from Palermo suggested he reconsidered suicide, but no further trace emerged, despite Mussolini's personal interest and a 30,000 lira reward. Theories abound. Suicide due to mental health struggles, supported by his melancholic letters and family history of suicides. Voluntary exile to Argentina or Venezuela, bolstered by 1950 sightings and a 2011 Italian prosecutor's claim based on a witness photo of Mr. Beanie resembling Majorana, though DNA tests were inconclusive. Retreat to a monastery, as he had expressed religious inclinations, and a similar-looking man sought monastic life days prior. Or abduction by Nazis or allies, fearing his atomic knowledge, given his pre-1939 insights into fission chain reactions amid uranium research. Recent archival documents suggest he died before 1939, but a 2024 decree declared his death on the disappearance date. His legacy endures in Majorana fermions, pursued in quantum computing, symbolizing untapped potential lost to mystery. Visual suggestions, black and white photos of Majorana and Fermi's group, reenactments of his final days and shipboarding, maps of possible escape routes, interviews with physicists explaining his equations, animations of neutrino particles. The black box of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, never recovered since the plane's disappearance on March 8, 2014, embodies a modern aviation enigma that has confounded experts and spawned theories ranging from mechanical failure to deliberate acts against the era of advanced tracking technology. Departing Kuala Lumpur for Beijing with 239 passengers and crew, the Boeing 777-200ER made standard contact until 1:19 a.m. when Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah signed off with "Good night, Malaysian 370", after which the transponder ceased and military radar tracked it deviating west over the Strait of Malacca, then south into the Indian Ocean, with satellite pings from Inmarsat confirming 7 more hours of flight until fuel exhaustion around 8:19 a. The cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and flight data recorder, FDR, housed in the tail and designed to withstand 3,400 gigaseconds and 100 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. I meet ultrasonic pings at 37.5 kilohertz for 30 days, but MH370's vast search area, initially 120,000 square kilometers off. Australia's west coast yielded only 22 debris pieces confirmed by 2017, like a flaperon on Reunion Island, analyzed for drift patterns, but no black box. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau's 2017 report concluded a hypoxic cabin led to uncontrolled descent, but theories persist. Pilot suicide, with Zahari's home simulator showing similar routes, deleted but recovered, amid personal issues like marital strife. Hijacking by passengers or crew, given 2 Iranians with stolen passports, though Interpol cleared them. Or cyber-attic disabling systems, unproven despite Boeing vulnerabilities. U.S. intelligence dismissed shootdowns, and no terrorist claims emerged. Searches by Ocean Infinity in 2018, using autonomous underwater vehicles, scanned 112,000 square kilometers without success, resuming potentially in 2024 with new proposals. The absence of the black box, which could reveal cockpit audio and 2,000 parameters, leaves families in limbo, and aviation reforms like extended PINGS 90 days since 2019 and real-time tracking unfulfilled for closure. Visual suggestions, satellite imagery of search zones, reenactments of cockpit events, debris photos, interviews with Inmarsat engineers, animations of flight path deviations. The ancient prophecy of Nostradamus that seemingly came true through his cryptic quatrains has fascinated historians and scholars for centuries. Blending 16th century mysticism with interpretations of major historical events that appear eerily prescient. Born Michel de Nostradame in 1503 in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, France, to a family of converted Jewish grain dealers, Nostradamus studied medicine at Montpellier, becoming a physician during the Black Death, where his rose petal pills and sanitation methods gained repute, though he lost his first family to the plague. Turning to astrology and occultism amid Renaissance humanism, he published almanacs from 1550, adopting the Latinized name Nostradamus for prestige, and in 1555 released Les Prophecies, a collection of 942 poetic quatrains divided into centuries purportedly divining the future through scrying and biblical inspirations. Summoned by Queen Catherine de' Medici, after accurately predicting King Henry II's 1559 jousting death, the young lion will overcome the older one on the field of combat in a single battle. He will pierce his eyes through a golden cage. Nostradamus became royal counselor, his verses blending French, Greek, Latin, and Provencal for ambiguity. The French Revolution of 1789 to 1799 aligns with Quatrain I-60. A great discord will arise near the Seine. The people will be in arms, evoking the Bastille storming, while Napoleon's rise from Corsica in 1799 matches. An emperor will be born near Italy, who will cost the empire very dearly. His exile and return foretold in From the Enslaved People Songs, Chants, and Demands. The 1666 Great Fire of London corresponds to the blood of the just will be demanded of London, burnt by fire in the year 66, starting in a bakery and ravaging 13,200 houses over 4 days. Adolf Hitler's ascent echoes from the depths of the west of Europe. A young child will be born of poor people, he who by his tongue will seduce a great troop, with Hister interpreted as the Danube River near his Austrian birthplace, and World War II evoked in beastly imagery. The September 11, 2001 attacks resonate with earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth, will cause tremors around the new city. 2 great rocks will war for a long time, seen as the Twin Towers collapse. Scholars debate authenticity. His vague, anagrammatic style allows retrofitting, with many fulfilled prophecies altered in translations, like the London Fire Quatrains 66 as 66. Yet his enduring appeal lies in humanity's pattern-seeking amid chaos. Visual suggestions. Renaissance portraits of Nostradamus scrying, reenactments of Henry II's joust, and revolutionary mobs, historical footage of World War II and 9/11s, expert interviews with quatrain manuscripts, animations interpreting verses. 8. The coded letters of the Zodiac killer, with 2 remaining unsolved despite decades of scrutiny, form a chilling chapter in criminal history, intertwining cryptography with serial murder in late 1960s California. Active from at least December 1968 to October 1969, the self-proclaimed Zodiac claimed 37 victims, but is confirmed in 5 murders. The shootings of high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday near Benicia. Darlene Ferrin and Mike McGow in Vallejo. The stabbing of Cecilia Shepard, fatal, and Brian Hartnell, survived at Lake Berryessa. And taxi driver Paul Stein in San Francisco. Taunting authorities through letters to newspapers like a San Francisco Chronicle, the killer demanded front-page publication, signing with a crossed circle symbol and boasting details only he could know, such as Stein's shirt fabric used in later mailings. The first cipher, Z408, sent July 31, 1969, in 3 parts to separate papers, was cracked by schoolteacher Donald Harden and wife Betty within days. A homophonic substitution yielding, "I like killing people because IT is so much fun," referencing slaves for his afterlife and inspirations from the most dangerous game. The Z340, mailed November 8, 1969, resisted until December 2020, when software engineer David Oranchuk, cryptographer Jarl van Eyck, and mathematician Sam Blake deciphered it as a transposition cipher with diagonal reading, denying a TV call-in and reiterating afterlife slaves, solved via ASDecrypt software after 650,000 attempts. The Unsolved Z13, from April 20, 1970, claims "My name is," followed by 13 symbols, speculated as AEN or names like Cain, via substitution, but brevity hinders confirmation. The Z32 button cipher, June 26, 1970, accompanies a map with a compass rose, purporting bomb coordinates at Mount Diablo, using radians, but yielding gibberish despite efforts. Theories suggest the killer's cryptographic knowledge from military service, as symbols resemble weather codes or naval signals, with identity suspects like Arthur Lee Allen, searched but cleared, or Gary Post, post-2021 claims unverified. The cipher's purpose: psychological terror, misleading police, or concealing clues, remain debated amid FBI's open case. Visual suggestions: original cipher images, reenactments of mailings and crimes, decoding animations, interviews with cryptographers using software demos, crime scene photos. 9. The case of the disappearing artifacts exemplified by the missing Faberge imperial eggs highlights the chaos of revolution and war that scattered priceless historical treasures. With 7 of the 50 jeweled masterpieces commissioned for Russian Tsars still unaccounted for since the 1917 Bolshevik uprising. Peter Karl Faberge's house began creating these opulent eggs in 1885 for Tsar Alexander III's gift to Empress Maria Feodorovna I. Hen egg of white enamel, opening to a golden yolk hen diamond crown and ruby pendant, establishing an annual tradition, continued by Nicholas II for his mother and wife Alexandra, until 1916, each themed uniquely, like the 1911 Bay Tree with Mechanical Bird or 1930 Winter of Rock Crystal. Valued at millions today for intricate goldwork, enamel, and gems, the eggs symbolized Romanov extravagance amid growing unrest. But the 1917 February Revolution toppled the monarchy, confining the family before their 1918 execution. Bolsheviks nationalized imperial assets, with Lenin initially preserving them in the Kremlin armory. But Stalin's 1927 to 1933 sales for foreign currency dispersed many via agents like Armand Hammer, who acquired 10 eggs now in collections like Victor Vexelber's Faberge Museum in St. Petersburg. The missing include the 1886 hen with sapphire pendant, known only from descriptions as a diamond-studded hen extracting a sapphire egg. The 1888 cherub with chariot, a gold egg with diamonds and sapphire pulled by an angel. The 1889 necessaire, a diamond-set etui with beauty tools. The 1897 mauve with a heart surprise of clover. And portraits. The 1902 Empire Nephrite, possibly emerald with Alexander III portrait. The 1903 Royal Danish, silver with miniatures. And the 1909 Alexander III commemorative, gold with yacht surprise. Theories posit destruction during looting, hidden Soviet bunkers, or private hoards. A 2014 scrap dealer found the 1887 Third Imperial, worth $33 million, suggesting others survive unrecognized. Searches in shipwrecks like the Wilhelm Gustloff or Polish trains persist, driven by $200 to $300 million estimates per egg. Visual suggestions. Faberge workshop reenactments, archival Romanov photos, auction footage of recovered eggs, expert interviews with replicas, maps of dispersal routes. 10. The unidentified signals from space, epitomized by the 1977 WOW signal, represent a tantalizing chapter in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, blending radio astronomy's advancements with unresolved cosmic puzzles during the Cold War space race era. Detected on August 15, 1977, by Ohio State University's Big Ear telescope during a SETI scan, the narrowband signal at 1,420 megahertz. The hydrogen line frequency lasted 72 seconds, with intensity peaking at 6 EQ-UJ5 on the alphanumeric scale, prompting astronomer Jerry Emin to circle it with WOW in red ink. Originating from Sagittarius, near Chi Sagittarii, the signal's strength suggested a source 200 light-years away if isotropic, or farther if beamed, but follow-ups with Big Ear, Very Large Array, and Arecibo yielded nothing, despite over 100 searches. Big Ear's design scanned fixed declinations as Earth rotated, capturing the signal's rise and fall, matching a point source. Theories evolved. Initial SETI hopes faded with non-repetition, leading to natural explanations, like interstellar scintillation, amplifying a distant source, or Comet 266P, Christensen's hydrogen cloud, proposed in 2017, but debunked for positional mismatch and lack of 1977 detection. A 2024 study from Arecibo's REDS survey identified similar but weaker signals from hydrogen clouds, suggesting a magnetar flare stimulated a maser-like emission at 1,420 megahertz, with rarity explaining non-recurrence. Historical context includes CD's origins post-1959 Cocconi-Morrison paper, with Big Ear's 1973 to 1995 survey scanning millions of channels. A signal's cultural impact spawned books, films, and the CD at Home project, while debates persist over artificial versus natural origins with no consensus. Visual suggestions. Big Ear telescope footage, signal printout scans, reenactments of Emin's discovery, space animations of magnetar flares, interviews with SETI astronomers. 11. The final message that was never delivered in the Tamim Shud case of the Summerton man embodies a profound post-war mystery, intertwining espionage suspicions with cryptic clues in 1948, Australia, amid global tensions following World War II. On December 1, 1948 at 6:30 a.m., the body of an unidentified man, aged about 40 to 45, well-built, with manicured hands suggesting no manual labor, was found propped against a seawall on Summerton Beach near Adelaide, dressed in a suit with all labels removed, except a tie stripe possibly. American and possessions, including unused train and bus tickets, cigarettes, matches, and chewing gum. No wallet or ID, and an autopsy revealed congested organs consistent with poisoning, though no toxin was detected, with theories of rare poisons like digitalis or strophanthine that leave no trace. 4 months later, a hidden fob pocket yielded a rolled paper scrap with Tamim Shud, Persian for ended, torn from Edward Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a poetry book on life's transience. Public appeals located the exact book in a car's glove box near the beach, with the phrase ripped out and indentations revealing a code: Regoababd, MLIAOI, WTBPC, MLIAB, MediaIBAB. Cryptographers deemed it an acronymic cipher, possibly a one-time pad, Unsolved despite naval intelligence efforts. A phone number in the book led to nurse Jessica Justin Thompson, who denied knowing the man but nearly fainted seeing his plaster cast, later revealing a 1945 rubaiyat gifted to Army Lieutenant Alf Boxall, intact with her inscription. Theories proliferated. Cold War spy poisoned after a mission, linked to nearby Woomera rocket range. Jilted lover meeting Thompson, whose unclaimed son, Robin, resembled the man with rare ear and dental traits. Or suicide, with the phrase symbolizing finality. Exhumed in 2021, DNA identified him as Carl Webb, a Melbourne electrical engineer separated from wife Dorothy. But cause of death and South Australia presence remain unclear, with code undeciphered. Visual suggestions, beach discovery reenactments, code close-ups, book examinations, interviews with cryptologists, family DNA reveals. 12. From the vanished settlers of Roanoke to the cryptic signals echoing from distant stars. These 12 mysteries underscore the limits of our knowledge, each one a testament to history's unresolved puzzles that continue to challenge and captivate us, leaving open the possibility that new discoveries may one day provide answers. Where are you watching from? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear if you believe in alien origins for the WoW, signal, or a spy twist in the Summerton man case. If you enjoyed this exploration of historical enigmas, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest unsolved stories.